Well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today on day 2 of Ready23. I'm truly grateful for you joining us here today for another day of fantastic conversation as it relates to the work we're doing with our dedicated public safety servants. My name is Ed Parkinson. I'm the president of public safety and public sector here at RapidSOS. And I'm thrilled to be joined by a good friend of mine, former commissioner of the Boston Police Department, Commissioner Ed Davis. Ed, it's great to see you, sir.
Great to see you too, Ed, as always.
We're gonna get everyone confused about which Ed is talking now, but that's quite all right. Well, Ed, just wanted to dive straight in. What we're really focused on today and over the last couple of days here at Ready23 around 4 main pillars of public safety. We have thought leadership, we have school safety. I know that's a topic that you're pretty passionate about. We can dive into that straight away. Fire and public safety response, as well as security. But I know school safety is an area that you've been largely focused on. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about how you, your company, and also how public safety as a community really should be thinking about school safety? You're a grandfather, parent. I'm a father of 3, so I'd be fascinated in your insights.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. Yeah, we spend a lot of time working on school safety here at my company. We do security consulting, and one of our clients is the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed in Massachusetts. And we've been with them since the onset of the COVID pandemic. So we work with them very closely, and our work on the health side has shifted recently to the concerns around public safety in the schools. And so we've spent a lot of time doing school assessments, doing training with professionals at from the K through 12 section of education. But we've also done a fair amount of work with public universities here. It is a huge concern of parents. And, last week I spent a lot of time working on the active shooter case up in Lewiston, Maine. I have a home in Maine. I was in Lewiston not too long ago, and I had to dispatch security personnel that work for me up there to the scene to assist the media that was covering this very active situation. So we had people on the ground there, but when I came back and started to talk to parents here in Massachusetts, their concern goes out to their children, and their children are in schools most of the day. And as you said, you and I are both grandparents, and you're a parent, I'm a grandparent. But the truth of the matter is, we've got young children that we care about, and so when you see incidents, these high-profile incidents like the Lewiston, Mass murder, parents want to know first that the school leadership is concerned about this issue. That's the first thing. They want to know that they care about this. And they want to show, they want the officials to show empathy with the families that are adversely affected by this, and very much in a psychological way. And then the next thing they want is they want to know what they're doing about it. They want to know what's in place. What are we going to do if something happens? How are you going to protect our children? So that is a very, very important component of public safety right now in the United States. And we're proud that we're able to play a small role in that.
It's a huge part, I think, of the entire ecosystem that RapidSOS touches. When you look at our alerting capabilities that we're able to provide, the mapping solutions that our partners can provide, school safety is a fundamental pillar of what we're trying to achieve. And I think when you look at public safety in general, it's a tragic situation that we have to spend such a huge amount of time focused on this topic. But it's a fundamental part of what public safety tries to do when looking at communities and serving communities. They're the most vulnerable aspects of society. Just dropping my children off this morning, any parent who's listening on today, thinking about school safety and school security, it's a key thing that we all try and have play a major part in. So.
Right, and a tool like RapidSOS can make the difference between life and death in a situation like this. So I applaud the work that they do, and clearly these are the things that need to be in the field, and these are things that are going to make families and students feel more secure.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the technology, Ed, because we heard from our FCC chairman's panel yesterday about some of the chairs feel as though we're in the middle of this technological revolution. You were there on Patriots Day in Boston leading the team, leading the response to that devastating bombing. Thinking about how technology was leveraged by public safety then versus where you're seeing it go today. Can you talk a little bit about how you see that journey and the art of the possible going forward?
Sure, it's amazing what's happened in the 10 years between this terrible incident that happened in Boston and today. First of all, the communications technology has been crucial. We lost our capability to communicate by cell phone right after the incident happened. And there's a lot of people that speculated that the police shut the cell phone systems down, and we did have technology to do that, but we never employed that technology. What happened was the system was overwhelmed with phone calls, and it's always operating at 85 to 90% efficiency. And when a bad thing like this happens, it just shuts everything down. There's too much usage on the system. So since that time, FirstNet has been implemented, and there's much more capacity. And also public officials understand that shortcoming, so they're better prepared for it by putting other devices in place. So communications has been crucial. The other thing that we really didn't have a good handle on is cameras in an urban area. The camera technology and the software that works with those cameras is a world of difference in the last 10 years. There are companies out there that provide constant monitoring, license plate readers, suspicious activity software. I have one client that has 6,000 cameras in one location. And so it's virtually impossible for any one person or any team of people to watch all of those cameras at the same time. And because of that, and that's the case in an urban area, we need to have software that allows us to monitor these things and to flag any abnormality or anomaly that occurs in the field of vision of these cameras.
If I can interrupt, I think that was interesting. Obviously, I think a lot of us watched the Netflix documentary on the Boston bombing, and the scene where cameras and video cameras were able to retrace the steps of the two Zano brothers who obviously were the perpetrators of that. Leveraging things such as the evolution of technology, leveraging things like AI and the next generation of technologies that can be leveraged by public safety. How do you see that coming together? Is that something that folks really need to be thinking about, leveraging AI, leveraging the evolving technologies, and how should law enforcement, how should public safety, fire communities, EMTs be thinking about that?
Well, it's critically important to leverage technology and also to employ new pieces of software like artificial intelligence to be able to do things like, we did track those guys from Gloucester Street all the way down to the scene of the bombing in both locations. But it took us days to do that. And it took a team of technology experts sitting at Black Falcon Terminal, pouring through thousands of videos that were basically collected by hand as we walked up and down Boylston Street from various locations. Like one company would have a snippet of 5 seconds, and we had to join that together with other companies' personal video or business video that had another 5 seconds until we got the thing done. With AI, now we can track somebody across platforms that's wearing a certain type of clothing so that it only takes minutes or an hour to put together a video that took us 3 days to put together after the Boston Marathon. Why is that important? Because these people are building more bombs. There was a continuing threat to the community, and leveraging technology, but also having the skill to put those pieces together quickly so that the arrest teams can identify who the suspect is and get them into custody is critically important. So it's really a new day right now, and technology companies are at the forefront of making our community safe.
I imagine the coordination of any sort of situational awareness tool is fundamental to be able to provide the right information to all of these jurisdictions who would wanting to, run into the harm's way and do the response. So providing situational awareness, providing the right information, the right data. Obviously, we're biased here at RapidSOS, but the platform that we can provide seems as though that would be a tremendous solution set where you can ingress all these different data sources from the variety of partners, over 100 partners we have at Rapid, to be able to provide better situational awareness and intelligence to the responding first responders.
Right. One of the critical things that a command post or the leadership of a police or fire agency does is to pre-position people, the deployment decision. And if that deployment decision can be helped by technology like RapidSOS, we can make smarter decisions, put people in areas that are most likely to be affected by criminal activity, and not only prevent the criminal activity, but also increase safety for the police officers and firefighters who are out there. Those two things are crucial to the work that we do.
Communities that we serve. I mean, we talked about school safety, obviously speaking about the references that you have. It's obviously providing safety and security for responding public safety, but first and foremost are the communities that public safety is running into harm's way for.
No question. That is our first job. And, you know, we talk about schools, but the truth of the matter is there is an equal amount of demand for training and plans and technology that will assist in the workplace. That's another great area of concern that we see in my company, and we try to help on a daily basis.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Ed. So as a thought leader in the public safety space, you travel the world providing your experiences and the leadership that you've shown over your career to the next generation as public safety starts thinking about how best to tackle the ever-evolving solutions that, I beg your pardon, the ever-evolving problems that they have to face. How, as a thought leader, are you looking at the future? How do you see public safety evolving, and what kind of advice could you provide to those listening in terms of leadership as well as the evolving threats that folks are facing these days?
Well, I think there's two major things that I'd like to point to. One is the mentality that that's not going to happen here has to be overcome. These things can happen everywhere, anywhere. Everyone has to be prepared for this, and everyone has to think about what they would do if they were hit with the type of challenge that we experienced here 10 years ago at the marathon incident, and that just recently the Lewiston Police Department responded to in that terrible tragedy. And I'll tell you another story. The Secretary of Public Safety in New Hampshire called me a couple of days after this incident in Maine, and he shared with me that he had pulled together all the public safety secretaries from the northern part of New England, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. And on Monday morning, the day of the shooting, they had a meeting and shared telephone numbers and contact information and had discussions about working together. They didn't know that later in the day, they would have to employ those contacts and send air assets from Massachusetts and New Hampshire over to Maine to try to catch the suspect. And that meeting came about as a result of some training I did with the secretary from New Hampshire about, and this is the most important thing I teach when I go around the country in thought leadership. You cannot develop a relationship in a crisis. You need to know the people that are going to help you, and you have to have their information and have a contact with them before things happen. So keep that in mind. It can happen in your jurisdiction, and you need to look around to see who you're going to need to help if something like this happens.
I've heard this all my career. I've been in public safety 15 years, and you can never, ever develop a relationship in the moment. It's got to happen beforehand. And I think what we try and do at RapidSOS is bringing together the expertise of public safety and the expertise of the private sector together in this unique platform that we can provide said solution sets and build those relationships and build the opportunity for public safety to be aware of what's out there in the community. And I think taking advantage of what the ingenuity of the American commercial space can provide to public safety is a unique part of what we can do here at RapidSOS. So, you know, we're very, very excited, I think, in terms of the opportunities going forward. Ed, thank you. It's been wonderful to see you. Obviously, we saw you on Netflix. Any more potential acting roles for you in the future?
No, I've got a face for radio, Ed.
Well, great to see you, my friend, as always. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to everyone being here today. We're thrilled to kick off day 2. And we hope you have a wonderful experience at Ready23.
Thank you, sir.